The further you fall, the more the world forgets you. Beyond the bathypelagic, beyond the midnight zone, lies the Hadal Zone, named for Hades, the god of the underworld. Here, the pressure is a physical presence, a constant uniform crushing force that should, by all laws of terrestrial physics, extinguish life. But the archive knows that the void is never empty. It is merely waiting. This is Chapter 5 of the Aquatic Abyss. Here, we investigate the luminous dark. We study the biological alchemy of living light and the predators that have evolved to hunt in a world where sight is a liability. In the deep, light is not the enemy of the dark. It is its most dangerous weapon. To survive the trenches, life has had to rewrite its own chemistry. At these depths, the cell membranes of surface dwellers would solidify into wax. The proteins would collapse. To avoid being crushed, the organisms of the Hadal Zone have replaced their rigid structures with fluid, gelatinous forms. They have become part of the water itself. But the most profound adaptation is not to the pressure, it is to the silence. In the absence of sunlight, the eyes become useless relics. Many have abandoned them entirely, evolving sensory arrays that feel the vibration of a heartbeat through a mile of liquid. They are biological machines built for a single purpose: to wait in the dark until the light appears. The first truth of the abyss is that every light has a hunger behind it. The anglerfish is the most honest inhabitant of the deep. It carries its lure like a beacon of false hope, a bioluminescent bacteria contained within a fleshy bulb. To the smaller organisms of the trenches, this glow is an anomaly, a fragment of the world above that they have never seen. They are drawn to it by 1 billion years of instinct, moving toward the spark of life, only to find the crushing finality of the needle teeth. It is a biological betrayal. The light is not a guide, it is a funeral shroud. In the Hadal Zone, curiosity is the first step toward the digestive tract. But the light is not always an individual weapon. Sometimes, the entire abyss glows. The archive holds records of the milky void, vast colonies of bioluminescent bacteria that colonize the snow of organic matter falling from the surface. They turn the seabed into a glowing graveyard, a landscape of cold chemical fire. It is an alien world that defies our understanding of geography. Standing on the Abyssal Plain, you would see a horizon that glows with the light of 1 million tiny deaths. It is a reminder that even in the most isolated corners of the planet, life is a collective phenomenon, a network of light that pulses with the slow, rhythmic breath of the currents. The apex predators of the trenches do not need light to kill. The archive documents the Hadal ghost, a pale, almost translucent snailfish found at the very bottom of the Mariana Trench. It has no pigment, no armor, and very little muscle. It is a creature of absolute efficiency, floating like a phantom in the crushing dark. It feeds on the tiny amphipods that scavenge the remains of the world above. But don't be deceived by its fragile appearance. The snailfish is the master of its domain. It exists in a state of permanent patience, a biological archive of everything that has fallen through the water column. It is the end of the human line, a reminder that the deep does not need eyes to see our weakness. Then there is the dragonfish. It uses a secret frequency, a red light that almost no other creature in the abyss can detect. It carries its own infrared vision, a biological sniper rifle that allows it to illuminate its prey while remaining invisible to them. It is the ultimate expression of the predatory light. While the rest of the trenches are locked in a struggle of blue and green bioluminescence, the dragonfish operates on a spectrum that the ocean has forgotten. It is a reminder that biology is always looking for the loophole, the hidden frequency that turns a fair fight into a slaughter. The dragonfish is the shadow within the shadow, a creature that has mastered the luminous dark. Everything in the trenches is built from the remains of the surface. We call it marine snow, a continuous shower of detritus, dead plankton, and the waste of the world above. It is the sustenance of the abyss, a slow-moving rain of memory that feeds the titans and the phantoms alike. To the inhabitants of the Hadal Zone, we are the gods of abundance, providing the fuel for their alien lights. But the archive warns that this snow is also a record of our own decay. The plastics, the chemicals, the isotopic residue of our wars, it all eventually finds its way to the bottom. The trenches are the ultimate filing cabinet of human consequence, a place where our mistakes are preserved in the cold and the dark. The vampire squid, Vampiroteuthis infernalis, is neither a vampire nor a true squid. It is a prehistoric relic, a creature that has remained unchanged for millions of years. It lives in the oxygen minimum zone, an environment so depleted that almost nothing else can survive. Its defense is not ink, but a cloud of bioluminescent mucus, a glowing fog that confuses and blinds attackers. It is a biological smokescreen, a use of light that is defensive rather than offensive. The vampire squid is the guardian of the middle dark, a reminder that even the most terrifying names can hide a biological necessity for peace. It lives on the breath of the ocean, a silent witness to the history of the water. Why are we afraid of the dark? Because we are terrestrial creatures who rely on the sun for our survival. To us, the absence of light is the absence of life. But the archive shows us that the dark is merely a different kind of canvas. The bioluminescence of the trenches is the most widespread form of communication on Earth. More light is produced by organisms in the ocean than by all the stars in the visible universe. We live on a planet of light, but we only know the version that comes from above. The luminous dark of the trenches is the true majority, a world where the laws of physics and biology are written in the flicker of a cold chemical fire. We are the ones living in the exception. Imagine drifting in the center of the Mariana Trench, 7 miles beneath the hull of your ship. The weight of the world is above you, but around you there is a galaxy of living stars. A massive siphonophore pulses in the distance, its glowing body stretching for 100 feet. Tiny copepods spark like static as they move through the water. It is a world of absolute beauty and absolute terror, where every light is a question and every shadow is an answer you don't want to hear. This is the finality of the aquatic abyss. It is a place where human meaning is irrelevant, replaced by the ancient, unblinking logic of survival. The light doesn't want you to see, it wants you to stay. The archive holds reports of things found in the trenches that should not be there. Modern technology, lost in the vanishings we documented in Chapter 4, eventually finds its way to the Abyssal Plains. Rusted containers, components of aircraft, even the lost weaponry of nations. It all resides in the silt, being slowly colonized by the glowing life of the void. The trenches are the Earth's ultimate recycling center, a place where our most advanced tools become homes for the phantoms. The lights of the abyss don't just illuminate the biology, they illuminate the archaeology of our failures. We are leaving our mark on a world we have never truly seen. The water remembers everything we have thrown away. We send our little robotic probes down, their powerful lights cutting through the darkness of billions of years. We believe that by seeing, we are conquering. But the archive warns us that our lights are a disruption. To a world adapted to the absolute black, our arrival is a blinding catastrophe. We are the intruders, bringing the violent artificial light of the surface to a realm of delicate chemical sparks. We think we are documenting the abyss, but we are merely recording the moment of its disturbance. Our hubris is the belief that the world exists for us to map. But the trenches were perfectly content in their silence before we ever arrived. The light we bring is merely a reflection of our own arrogance. Look at the pulse of light moving through the body of a deep-sea jellyfish. It is a language we have yet to decode. Is it a mating call? A warning? A moment of predatory excitement? The archive suggests it is the sound of the ocean thinking. A neurological network that spans the globe, pulsing with the information of the currents and the chemistry of the water. Every glow is a word in a sentence that began before the first land animal ever breathed air. To understand the luminous dark is to understand the mind of the planet. We are merely eavesdropping on a conversation that has no need for us. The light is the truth, but it is a truth written in a language of shadows. The trenches are the Earth's wounds. They are the places where the tectonic plates collide and dive back into the mantle, carrying the ocean floor with them. The Hadal Zone is the doorway to the furnace of the planet. Here, the water is superheated by hydrothermal vents, and the chemistry of life is forged in the absence of sunlight. The archive holds records of the giant tube worms and blind crabs that thrive in these toxic plumes, their alien biology built on the energy of the Earth's core. It is a reminder that life is not a child of the sun, it is a child of the planet itself. The trenches are the origin and the end, a place where the map finally fails and the abyss begins. Why are we so obsessed with searching for life on other planets? We look at the moon of Europa or the deserts of Mars, seeking an alien presence. But the archive notes that the alien is already here. The Hadal Zone is as biologically and physically distinct from our world as any celestial body. The inhabitants of the trenches have more in common with the theories of extraterrestrial life than they do with the animals in our forests. We are living on the surface of an alien planet, and the ocean is its true face. We search for the other because we are looking for a reflection of ourselves. But in the trenches, we find only the unblinking, glowing eyes of a world that does not recognize us. We are not the masters, we are the observers. The list of the Luminous is growing. Each expedition brings new phantoms into the light of the archive. The hatchetfish, the black swallower, the gulper eel. Each name is a record of a biological experiment that has succeeded in the most extreme conditions imaginable. We categorize them, we name them, we file them away in our libraries. But the sea is an efficient editor. It is slowly reclaiming the names we have given it, ensuring that eventually the abyss will be all that remains. Every record we create is a temporary stay against the silence of the trenches. The truth is submerged, written in the ink of a dark, liquid history. Silence is our only witness. Look into the water at night, and you might see the reflection of a world that isn't there. You might see the flicker of a light that has no source. The ocean is not just water. It is a consciousness that predates our own. It sees our arrivals and our departures as minor fluctuations in its long, dark history. The ghost ship, the Titan, and the luminous dark are all symbols of this fundamental sovereignty. The archive holds the last remnants of our attempts to understand the deep, but the sea has no interest in being understood. It is content to be the abyss, a place where the light is a weapon and the dark is a home. We are the intruders. The abyss is the master of the long game. The ocean is the ultimate gatekeeper. It holds 80% of the Earth's history in its depths, and it has no intention of sharing it. We believe that with our satellites and our sonar, we have mapped the world, but we have only mapped the surface. The Hadal Zone remains out of reach, not because it is a myth, but because it is sovereign territory. It belongs to the deep. As we push further into the Abyssal Plains, we are the ones who are out of place. We are the ghosts in their world. The trenches are not a puzzle to be solved, but a boundary to be respected. It is the place where the human story ends and the planetary story begins. And the planet has a very long memory. We are merely dust falling through the water column. The sea is the one place where we are genuinely out of our depth. A world that covers most of our planet but remains entirely alien to us. The mermaid, the kraken, and the luminous dark are all symbols of this fundamental truth. They are the faces we put on the unknown to keep our fear at bay. But the unknown doesn't care about our symbols. It operates on a timeline of billions of years, slowly churning, slowly evolving. The ghost fleet is still there, moving with the currents, its ruins being slowly ground back into the primordial soup. It is the ocean's way of saying that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed into something that we can no longer understand. We are the intruders. The abyss is the master. The archive remains open, but for now, we must return to the light. The story of the luminous dark is a story of our own fragility, a reminder that the life we build is only a temporary reprieve from the weight of the water. Chapter 5 is complete, but the aquatic abyss still has secrets to reveal. What waits in the Abyssal Plains? What light shines in the absolute dark? We will return. Until then, keep your eyes on the horizon and never forget the weight that pulls at your heels. The tide is coming in, and the truth is never far behind. Good night for now. Sleep well if you can. The water is rising, and the archive remembers everything. Silence is our only witness.